if I'm a mortgage broker, Ivy, and I'm thinking about some of these new policy changes and how to take advantage and how to implement them into my business, are there any things that you're thinking about or seeing people successfully implement with their own end consumer, the customer?
I mean, I think about that end consumer and really the knowledge gap. I think that our industry does a really good job in, providing the resources for training and education, but how it filters down to the consumer, I think we have some opportunity there. And a story to share on that is I was on a plane late last year and this gentleman sat beside me and we were talking, and he was attending a professional conference outside of our industry. And when he found out that I was in the mortgage industry, similar to how you said your friends and family kind of have that immediate question to you, Bekim, when we started talking about him and, he was in a variable rate mortgage, and this was a very professional, successful individual who really had a limited knowledge of the mortgage that he himself held, who his mortgage was even with. I don't even think he could answer that question. When it was up for renewal, his monthly payments, there was a big gap there in terms of, what he knew about the process and about his own mortgage product that he held. So, that was surprising to me, but it just kind of reaffirms the work that we need to do as mortgage professionals to make sure that, in this complex world of Canadian mortgages, is the end consumer completely comfortable and knowledgeable on the choices that are being presented to them? Mortgage brokers do an excellent job in, helping the end consumer get into the right mortgage. But how do we stay connected with them during the life of that mortgage, right? This gentleman was coming up for renewal. He goes, I know it's soon, but I don't really know when, and I don't know how, and who do I call? And, should I just go to my branch and talk to somebody there? So the guidance throughout the life of that mortgage, I think, is really what we need to hone in on when it comes to, really just number one, embracing that customer relationship that you have, but also making sure that that consumer doesn't feel lost in these changes. We've sat and talked about regulatory changes, Bekim, and we're in the industry and it can be complicated, but imagine what it sounds like for somebody who's an end consumer.
Yeah. You talked about two of the changes, which is one, just extending to 30-year amortizations, and, two, rental suite and going up to 90% loan to value. What an awesome opportunity to just reconnect with every single client you've done a mortgage for in the past, to just say, hey, it's been 3 years since we did your last mortgage. I just want to see how things are going. And maybe it gets uncovered through that conversation that the payment's tight month to month right now because the cost of goods on everything have gone up and interest rates everywhere have gone up, not just in mortgage. And it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, well, we put you in a 25-year amortization. You've got 22 years left on that. And look, I don't want you to pay significantly more interest over the life of your mortgage, but I do want you to pay less interest and have more free cash flow month to month. We may want to consider actually looking at this 30-year amortization so that you can afford it. Once you get a few things cleared up, we'll get you back to paying extra on the mortgage, get it paid down as fast as you were planning to anyways. But let's talk about that. Or maybe I was looking at your property. You've got some pretty good square footage there. And I know you said, your kids have grown up now. Are they moving out? Oh, no, they can't afford their own place. Well, what if we did a rental suite? You ever thought about that? And
right.
Boom, a whole new conversation, whole new mortgage product. And you're serving your borrowers. You're serving the end consumer and you're teaching them through that, right? You're not going to call everybody and tell them here's all the new mortgage changes.
Right.
Sometimes we do that as mortgage folks. We create one tile on our social media and we post it. We're new changes up to 90% loan to value, and the phone doesn't ring. Not surprisingly, right? You actually have to get down to the individual situation and say, how are you doing? How is life? How does your mortgage suit you? Is it still the right suit for you in this current stature, or has things changed in your life over 3, 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
It is not something that you can set and forget. So that is really great advice, truthfully, for mortgage brokers, and a great opportunity to touch base with all these changes. And I'm sure there's more to come. I'm confident there are more to come here that will spur new conversations with our consumers. So